He came home later than usual. Not because he was busy, but because he wasn't in a hurry. The key turned softly in the lock. She heard it. She always did. Even when she pretended not to. "You're late. Work." "I know." These words weren't a conversation anymore. They were a ritual. Like taking off a jacket. Like putting down a bag. Like avoiding eye contact. He sat at the kitchen table and immediately pulled out his phone. The screen lit up, and the wall between them appeared again. Transparent, cold, familiar. She placed a plate in front of him. The food was warm. They weren't. Once, he used to ask how her day was. Now, he didn't even notice she was waiting for the question. She sat across from him and realized something quietly terrifying. They were home, but they weren't together. It wasn't always like this. It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. They couldn't stop talking back then. Movies, plans, stupid little things. Late-night conversations about fears they never shared with anyone else. He used to hold her hand for no reason. She laughed, often. Honestly, back then, she believed, if you have this, everything else can wait. They talked about someday. They said we. They believed silence could only be comforting. She didn't notice when the words became shorter. When the looks became rare. When touch turned accidental. Nothing broke all at once. It simply started to fade. Distance doesn't happen suddenly. It happens quietly, when he started speaking less. When later, slowly turned into never. When she rehearsed conversations in her head, and still stayed silent. She stopped asking how his day was. Because she already knew the answer. He wasn't rude. He was polite, calm, distant. He said, "Thank you," but never looked up. Sometimes she caught his gaze, and couldn't find herself there anymore. At some point, she understood. Indifference is louder than screaming. There was no cheating. No betrayal. They just slowly stopped being part of us. He didn't leave physically. He left with his attention. With his presence. With his care. She set the table and realized she wasn't serving dinner. She was serving herself, hoping to be seen. And the scariest part, they never even fought. Silence just arrived. At first, it felt temporary. Then it became permanent. When the kettle is the loudest sound in the room. When your heartbeat is louder than conversation. When you're still together, but completely alone. If this felt familiar, stay. You're not alone. Loneliness in a relationship isn't about the absence of love. It's about the absence of attention. These relationships didn't collapse suddenly. They didn't explode or fall apart. They slowly drained out. There was no villain. No one intended to hurt anyone. One person slowly disconnected. The other stayed, hoping things would fix themselves. The most dangerous illusion is thinking, we don't fight, so everything must be fine. But silence without intimacy isn't peace. It's emotional emptiness. When partners stop sharing, stop saying we, stop being curious about each other. The relationship is already breaking, even if it looks calm on the outside. To avoid this kind of silent loneliness again, don't ignore early signs of distance. Don't minimize your own feelings. Don't confuse calmness with intimacy. Don't sacrifice yourself for comfort, and most importantly, don't be afraid to be inconvenient if that's the only way to stay alive inside. Healthy relationships aren't about avoiding conflict. They're about having a conversation,